Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Anh, and this is my presentation for the final project for SLAT 572. For this project, I decided to evaluate the Sigma language writing program here at the University of Arizona. And this has been a very challenging yet eye-opening experience for me, as I've never done something like this before. So I hope that this presentation gives you somewhat of an insight into my process and reflection. So here is an overview of everything that I will cover in this presentation. So first, I will give you a brief introduction to the Sigma language writing program here at the University of Arizona. And then second, and then I also will talk a little bit more about why I decided to choose this program for my evaluation report. Second, I will present the evaluation with some standards that I wanted to highlight the most. Next, I will feature the approach and practice that I used to conduct this evaluation report. And then after that, I will share with you the issues and challenges that I encounter while completing this project and my reflection on the process as a whole. Lastly, I will provide some recommendations that I have for the program as the result of this evaluation report. All right, so let's target the first part. So what is the second language writing program here at the University of Arizona? So the second language writing program is part of the bigger writing program that offers foundation writing courses designed for international students. International student enrolling in the university can take the sequence of English 106, English 107, and English 108 to fulfill the university writing requirement. So these courses share the same course goals and objectives with the mainstream foundation writing courses that were built for domestic US students. However, the focus of assignments and activities is geared towards the development of second language writing skills and also taking into consideration the students' cultural and language background. And because of that, these courses are taught by graduate students and lecturers who have completed graduate coursework in second language writing and TESOL or applied linguistics. So in regard to the reason for choosing to evaluate this specific program, I think it must be my personal relationship with the program as a graduate associate. So I've been involved with the program, not just because of my teaching assignment, but also in terms of materials and curriculum development, and also in terms of researching the program practices. So I think it would make the most sense if I use this project as a way to understand more about the program. And then again, my research interest also lies in second language writing and curriculum design and development. So I find it super fascinating to learn more about how the program has developed and evolved over time. Moreover, I think it would be interesting to understand more about the practices of the program and to understand how it can satisfy the needs of students and universities' general education writing requirements through its practices. So I think because of my personal experience with the program, I want to present the project with the assumption that I have my own biases going into the evaluation, and then how I try to balance that with the evidence that I found through the documents gathered from the program and through different interviews and observations. So because of that, for my evaluation project, I decided to cover this set of standards. So I want to take a look at the mission. I also want to take a look at curriculum. So all three of the standards belong to curriculum, and then both of the standards for length and structure of program of study, and then standard 2 and 3 of student achievement, and then both of the standards for program development planning and review. However, of course, due to the time limit of this presentation, I will only highlight 2 areas that I find the most important and interesting for the purpose of my evaluation. So the first one being the evaluation of the program's curriculum. Sorry. So the second language writing program has 3 courses. English 106, 107 and 108. However, it started out with just 2 courses that are English 107 and English 108, which would be equivalent to English 102 and English 101 and English 102 for US domestic students. But then the administration noticed that there would be international students who were not ready to be put in English 107 and 108 just yet. And then in addition, not all students would be familiar with certain US educational practices, genres, popular culture references, all of that when they just got here. So they decided to design the English 106 course to add to the second language writing sequence. In this course, international students whom English is an additional or second language develop academic literacy skills for university setting, with the focus on the idea that they will be able to move into English 107 after they finish with English 106. And in order to know the placement of these students, every student would need to take, even if they submit their TOEFL or IELTS score to the university with the writing scores on those reports, they would still need to go through a placement from the second language writing program, and then from there they will be put into either English 106 as the beginning class or English 107 as the beginning class. So this process is also part of the way that the program evaluate the student kind of coming into the program. And then the rationale, I think, for the second language writing courses is that they essentially have the same curriculum and student learning outcomes as the mainstream English classes, but the teacher feedback and students who take the course are absolutely different. So these second language writing courses are designed for international students and English language learners, like I mentioned earlier, but any students obviously can choose to take this course. Instructors in these courses typically have a background in teaching English as a second language, which allows for an understanding of grammar, obviously, and then writing that emphasizes language awareness, making sure that students feel like their language is embraced and they have the options to kind of navigate through that in a safe environment. So even though faculties can choose multiple approaches to implement in the classroom, the consistency of the delivery of the curriculum comes from the assignments that the faculties assign to students. So because these assignments follow a genre-based approach to teaching writing, and all second language writing courses essentially have the same a similar set of assignments, the students still have access to the same materials for their learning process. So the program also provides the faculty with templates and activities that can guide the use of these assignments in the classroom. And then in a typical second language writing class, in the second language writing program, students will be working individually on their draft for an assignment, for example, and then from there they can also collaborate with peers and then meet one-on-one with their instructors to talk about that. So the process is very collaborative and involve the involve peer review process in order to make sure that students have access to opinions from other people when it comes to their writing as well. So the process of evaluating the curriculum really helps me to understand the rationale again behind having a different curriculum for international students instead of asking them to do something similar as domestic students, and then also help me to understand the setup of the curriculum and how it helps students to achieve their learning goals and objectives. And then I also understand how teaching approaches, theories, and methodologies can affect the curriculum practices, knowing that different teachers would have very different way of teaching their class, making sure that the assignments are coherent and consistent is a key in order to help promote consistency throughout the program. All right, and then the second one that I want to highlight for everybody is the evaluation of student achievement. So The writing program requires students to produce portfolios in all foundation writing sections for assessment at the end of their coursework. Because of this policy, of course, the second language writing courses also require students to submit a portfolio at the end of their course to kind of understand more about the student progress throughout their learning. So in short, employing portfolios in writing courses make possible for the ability to look and consider the materiality of writing processes. And then it also promotes the development of metacognitive awareness of writing processes and then products across task and context. And then it is the reason why they use it to kind of understand more about the student achievement is because it is a platform for students to develop their identities as writers instead of just kind of letting other people choose that for them. So from an evaluation standpoint, it gives you the opportunity to assess your students more fairly by giving you a glimpse of the student efforts or lack thereof, I guess, to become better writers. So with individual texts, even taken over time, you may only be guessing at these things. So thinking in terms of engagement and considering why the program asks students to reflect, I think the program focused on assessing how much students were reflecting in ways that indicate transfer of learning. And then in order to assess where on the reflection for transfer continuum student reflections were standing. The program spent some time focusing on what the different levels of reflection might be and how they relate to transfer. So essentially, they look at a bunch of different kind of not that they look at a bunch, they look at all students' portfolio at the end of the semester. And from there, they look at how many student learning outcomes that student mentioned, and then also look at how engaged students seem in regard to these learning processes. And then from there, they kind of lump everything together and take a quantitative/qualitative look to determine what students have learned and what are some of the aspects that they seem to be lacking. So from there, they can also prepare future instructors for teaching these type of courses, knowing that these are some of the problems that students usually face. And then they also think about being able to help students to understand more about aspects that they might need to improve or similar things like that. So I think this process of evaluating student achievement through kind of looking at portfolios and through the process of how they actually evaluate these portfolio in the second language writing program really helps me to understand why the program uses portfolio as a tool for assessment. Because for me at the beginning, I was a little bit skeptical on the practice when I first kind of start working as an instructor for the writing program. And then I also understand how the program measures students' achievement throughout the use of portfolios, because I've been kind of introduced to all the parameters that they use in order to assess and measure students' achievement throughout the portfolio. So it was really interesting for me to be able to see that. And then I also understand how this aligns with the practices of the program as a whole. So putting students as the center of the learning process, and then from there, just kind of understanding their writing process and how they gradually become more confident writers in a sense. So I think it was really interesting to look at that. And then, so I hope that these two aspects of my evaluation really help you to understand the direction of the program. So moving a lot more toward a program that can put the values on the student's achievement and on the student cultural and language background. And then in the next section of the presentation, I will talk about the approach and practice that I have used for the evaluation project. So as you can see from the screen, these were the steps that I decided to take in order to gather information regarding the program. So I first look at information available for everyone on the second language writing program website. And then from there, I also look at information only available for employees of the program. So if you are a graduate associate or an instructor or an administrator or people that work in the writing program, you actually do have a dedicated website when you need to log in, and you have more information regarding, like, for example, course content or syllabus or activities or policies and all of that. So it's more geared towards instructors. So I also look at that. And then after that, I try to answer as many questions as I can with the information that I got from the public and also from my involvement as of writing teachers in the writing program. And then from there, I note some of the questions that I couldn't answer for myself through those information. And then I schedule an interview with an administrator, which would be the director of the second language writing program. Thank you so much, Dr. Shelley Stickles. And then I also schedule an interview with an instructor and then also with a faculty member. So I also did an observation of One English 107 class because it was just easier for me to be able to do it in person. And then I also read through documents made available to me by the program. So anything in regard to like annual reviews and more exclusive documents. And then at the end, I was just kind of tidying everything up and then just sending out follow-up questions if I see anything arise, if at this point I still have questions. So those were the approaches that and practices that I decided to take. And during this process, I noticed that there were issues and challenges that I didn't expect to arise. And because of that, I want to make notes of these issues and challenges for future planning of similar project. So first, the most difficult part for me was that I didn't know what to look for in the sense that I was looking through the self-report, and then I was just a little bit lost on things that I need to do. And then I also was really clueless on how to present the findings for each of the standard. So I have all these information. How would I be able to present it in a way that makes sense for the readers? And I was really concerned on how if I have all of these data, should I put it all in there or should I just use it as part of my evaluation and not really featuring all of that? So that was really difficult, but I actually kind of figured it out by now. So it was good that I figured it out, I guess. And then I also realized that I have time is always a problem carrying out any project, but especially with this one, given the fact that I was not feeling well for some time, and I had to kind of make sure that I put everything together and also make sure that I understand the assignment really well before actually do it anything. So the time constraints was really a challenge for me. And then I also found challenges when it comes to communicating with the program's administrators and faculties, knowing that they are super busy people and they also have kind of some restrictions in regard to what they can show me and what they can't. So that was all. It's not difficult, but it was also challenging because I don't want to make it seems like I'm asking too much from them, or this is something that they're not willing to share with me and just trying to dig into it. So being able to navigate through that tension was also challenging, but also very helpful for me as I think about other projects in the future. And then I also just in general find it difficult to determine the focus of the evaluation, making sure that I'm not just focusing on too many things, but kind of narrowing it down to some aspect that I really, really want to learn more. So I think it's fair to say that the whole process took a lot of time and effort, but I realized how much I have learned about the program and most importantly, things that the program could improve. So here would be some recommendations that I have for the program, keeping in mind the focus of my evaluation report is on the alignment of the curriculum and the student achievement. So I think the first thing I want to the program to do more is to feature more of students' achievement. So maybe publicly and within the program itself, maybe talking a little bit more about what the student portfolios showcase, or what would be something that the student like the most about the course, take away from the course, that all of that. And then I also think that if the program can build a little bit more connections with other parts of campus, that would be wonderful, because that would align more with the mission statement that the program stated from the beginning. I also think that it would be very, very important for them to expand the curriculum to focus more on the relationship between students' foundation writing classes with their disciplines, especially considering the fact that these are international students coming into the program, not knowing about writing and also not knowing so much about their discipline kind of writing practices. And then I also think the last thing I want to kind of recommend is to make the development plan or annual report more accessible to faculty, so that people like me can really, really understand and kind of know more about the program in that sense. So yeah, that should be everything. I think it was really, really interesting for me to kind of navigate through this project. I hope that you enjoy my presentation. It was long, but I think it's really necessary for me to be able to present all of my findings. Leave a comment if you have any, and let me know if you want to know more about the program, obviously. Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm excited to also listen to all of your presentations as well. Bye.